Hello, this is Jeff Bird with Jeffrey Bird Coaching. Today I have the privilege of being with Mike Walton. Mike is the president of BrightStar Home Care in Chesapeake, Virginia, and wanted to introduce everyone to him and thank you for being here with us today, Mike.
Sure, absolutely. I enjoy having you here today.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be interviewing Mike today on a little bit of his journey and some of the lessons he's learned as a leader. So Mike, if you don't mind, we'll start out and get you to tell us what was your journey that brought you here to BrightStar?
Well, perhaps some people may think it's an interesting journey. I spent 26 years in the newspaper business, and people used to ask me all the time, so what did you write? Well, I didn't write at all. Writers make up less than 20% of the typical newspaper business. There's a lot of other people working, whether it's newspaper delivery people or the advertising staff or the classified staff or customer service staff. There's people working all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I was always very busy in the operational side of things. I was a circulation director. But in 2008, even though I was on a corporate level, approximately 40 folks, just like myself, nationwide were laid off after 26 years, in my case, in the business. And I knew right then I had to, as they say, recreate myself. So I had no choice. I had to go look for something new to do because my industry was literally dying, the newspaper business. So I met a broker who helped me look at different possibilities of businesses and things to do because I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to get into business for myself, and I looked at a number of different opportunities, and I found BrightStar, and I really liked the methodologies, the ideas that the corporate office in the Chicago area had. Things just made sense to me, and I really liked it. Now, I also had family members who had needed some care with other companies similar to BrightStar, and they were able to help those family members. For example, my father, right now, he is in a nursing home, and he has what's called dementia with Lewy bodies. Now, that dementia is really taking a toll on him. It's taking a toll on the family. A company like us, they come in to assist those families, and that's what I wish I could do for my dad, except he lives well over 350 miles away on the other side of the state, so I'm not able to help him, but he's in a nursing home. So anyway, I found this company as a great way to help people, and that's what I've always wanted to do. In my newspaper business, I was operating one way or another, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Well, that's what we do today. We're working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, taking care of somebody in their home. And I thoroughly enjoy it. We've got a good group of people. They know what they're doing, and we get a lot of really good positive feedback from folks. So we've moved from newspaper business to home care. It's a totally different business, but we're still busy every single day. And I love it, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So learning a lot every day too.
And Mike, I can tell that you love it, and I've seen you and we work together adding value to your team. I've seen you and your team adding value to the community, and maybe even some of you watching have had a chance to have Mike and his team help with some of the needs in your own family. But Mike, I want to focus on the leadership now because Mike has at any given time between 85 and 100 staff working for him. So, Mike, you're not only touching the lives of those staff. Each of those members of your team, they have a family, they have friends, they have the clients that they're serving. So, in doing this, you are leading and influencing, because leadership is influence. You are influencing and leading a lot of other people. So, what I want to ask is, as a leader, what have you found to be the most important quality that you need to possess in being the best influence, having the most impact you can on all those folks that your lives that you're touching, and how have you been able to grow in those areas?
Well, one thing that's really important is you have to be patient. Every individual person is different. They all have different values. They all have different traits, different qualities, you might say. They all work differently. My goal is always to figure out what their best qualities are and work with them in that way. Uh, we do a lot of training with our folks, and we figure out who the best quality person is based upon their characteristics. And those characteristics could be something as simple as a smile. Do they smile a lot? I've seen employees come in here, huge smiles on their face. And I say, yeah, we need to hire that person just because you know they're bringing sunshine into the room.
I love it.
So we always like that. But we also want folks who want to work hard. We want a lot of people who come in here and really want to put the time and effort into taking care of our clients. But really importantly for us is we have to train people. We have to teach people. They have to understand what we want, what we like, and that takes that patience that I was referring to earlier, because you don't know what each person's about until you get to know them. So our goal, of course, is to try to find good quality people who are willing to go work in a person's home, but that person we feel needs to be so good that we'd be happy with them working in our home as well. So patience, without a doubt. Like I mentioned, the smiles. I look for those simple things, but they do make a difference. They really do make a difference for us and our clients.
Indeed. I think a lot of us who like to get things done struggle with patience. It reminds me of the guy that prayed, God, give me patience, and I'll take it right now. So I think that's a big issue when you're trying to get things done. What helps you? And like you said, I love that you said everybody is different. You've got all these different stories. So what helps you get to a point where you say, okay, let me focus on this person right in front of me and where they're at and what they need? Now, are there anything that you use to help be patient with the individual needs that come to you?
Well, being patient. Well, you have to figure out, like I said, what their values are, what they really want to do. What do they need in their life? And of course, in the case of business, do they need 20 hours a week? Do they need 30? Do they need 40 hours a week? We'll work within their parameters. And we try to match them up to a really good quality person, a client as well. We want the employee to be equally fun with the client as the client is with the family, with the employee. So it's important to us that we just find those good matches. But we need to train, like I said before, and that's important to me.
Right.
So,
and you mentioned the smiles, that you look for people who are smiling and you look for people who are hardworking.
Yeah.
What other character qualities, if you were to list a couple of the top most important character qualities in somebody that you want on your team, what would one or two of those be?
Enthusiasm, without a doubt. Hard worker. I cannot stop without talking about the smiles, because I'm not the biggest smiler, I know that, but I know people really like smiles.
Right.
That really works well. That's probably some of them the most important anyway.
That's great. No, that's great. I love that. Those are great ones.
Mm-hmm.
Smiling, enthusiasm, those two often go together, and then hardworking. So,
absolutely.
But I'd like that the first one that you mentioned was the smile. If you're
Sure.
naturally smiling at other people, it almost says, I see you, I value you, I like being around you. Now let's see what we can do to make things better.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I love that. So I mentioned to you, Mike, I was telling Mike on the way over that I was listening to a teaching called The Law of the Price Tag. And as I mentioned to you, that law says that anything we want to do of value necessarily carries with it a price tag. There's a price we're going to have to be paid. That's going to have to be paid. And sometimes that's financial. As any of us who have started a business know, there's that. But there's a personal price too. So for anybody who's coming behind in your footsteps, who wants to start things or undertake something that's meaningful to them, could you just tell us a little bit about what personal price they may have to expect to pay, and give, from where you are now, what you would say to that person coming behind you as far as helping them out in learning to accept and pay that price?
Sure. Well, in our case, we're in business for ourselves. So we have had to develop this business from the ground up. I'll never forget, approximately October 2008, I spoke with a business person, and I asked them, what can I anticipate for the future? And he asked me one question, well, what are you trying to accomplish today? And I said, well, if nothing else, to replicate my salary that I have right now in the newspaper business. And he said, then do not go into business for yourself. And I was questioning that a little bit. He said, look, it's going to take time. There are many companies that have succeeded very quickly, but most of them, they do take a long period of time. You have to be prepared to work a lot of long hours if you're going to succeed in a business. You have to be prepared for anything that might come along, and you got to be ready, as they say, flow with the punch, because you don't know what's coming next. Things are going to go up, things are going to go down. You're going to have a great day, then you're going to have a day that you don't like at all. Your family, it's so hard to balance the two, because, for example, I drive well over an hour and 15 minutes one way to work every day. That's 2.5 hours taken away from my family every day. And I don't like that, but because of where I happen to live and where my business is, I have no choice in that matter. So you have to balance that work with what you do at home. You have to watch the two very carefully and make sure to set aside that time. But that is one thing I really like about working for myself in this business is, for example, I have 2 children. One of them just graduated from college. One's still in college. If anything happened, if they needed my help, I'm going to them. I'm taking care of things with my family first, and that's critical. You got to make sure to balance that schedule. And it's hard at times, it really is. So I'd say that's the main thing. Balance it with the family, no doubt.
Well, Mike, thank you for being with us today. You've given us a lot to think about.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little recap. Smiles, enthusiasm, hard work,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that you never know what a day is going to bring forth,
Mm-hmm.
and being
Right.
willing to adjust and be flexible towards what you need to give to make it happen. Some days are going to be great. Some days you're the pigeon, some days you're the statue, right? But got to be flexible with that, and then putting family first, working to keep the balance in the areas that are needing the attention at the moment, and make sure that you put the first things first. So thank you so much.
Sure.
It's been great having this time with you.
Absolutely.
And I know that all of our viewers got something to take away positive from this. At least a smile, I think you're going to start with. So thanks so much, and we'll see all of you next time.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.